Well, the robots have arrived, at least in Pasadena, California. That's where the world's first ever fully autonomous AI-powered restaurant has opened, complete with burger flipping bots. We sent CBS's Joy Benedict on a taste test.
Now, in the suburbs not far from Tinseltown, the dream of an AI restaurant is already cooking. There's a grill robot by Kachina and Flippy by Miso Robotics frying everything else. No human chefs needed.
We can't get enough people to come out to work on fryers and grills. They're dangerous jobs.
The ordering system is powered by artificial intelligence too, using facial recognition software.
Which is just operating the fryer in those dangerous environments. And that way the people who work in the restaurant can focus on those human elements.
Is it costing people their jobs?
That's not what we've seen. It's really here to help people.
Flippy can make 250 pounds of French fries an hour. The Burger Bot, 100 patties, all without needing a break or a day off like its human counterparts.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you're joining the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. And never forget, teamwork makes the dream work. Patreon members sent me this, the automated burger shop. No human involved. And notice the terminology that they're using. They can't get any workers. It's a dangerous job. All of a sudden, fixing burgers and frying fries is dangerous. And then on top of it, they're using facial recognition to order. Sounds like China. And is it costing people jobs? And the guy says with a straight face, no. Yes, it's unbelievable. And she stated this automated restaurant, these bots don't need a break. They don't need a day off, and they don't require insurance like humanity. They're not going to call out sick. They're not going to talk back. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And then we have Tim Draper on Bitcoin. Says that eventually people are going to go away from the dollar, and we know that is starting this year. We know the BRICS nations are already about to turn to digital currencies. We know China and Russia already have a payments platform. And we're going to see the rise of the Belt and Road with that digital yuan backed by that digital SDR. And guys, they keep coming. More and more layoffs. We have Block, we have PayPal, we have UPS. And didn't I warn you guys that layoffs are going to keep picking up? Remember, they're going to do 5% here, 10% there, as they're building this fourth industrial revolution. The next thing you know, over the next 3 to 5 years, 60 to 70% of these jobs will be gone. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And now we have Apple's headset debuting. And you will be able to look at something and tap your fingers. And don't forget Disney's walk-in floor. Guys, this is all a setup for the actual metaverse. And then, guys, we got the drums are beating, and they bring us video games. Yes, you can't make this stuff up. Remember, your life is an illusion, and TV is your reality. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you, because he knows, when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
I'd like to start, if we can, first with prices, because, of course, back in 2018, you said within 4 years, so by 2022, Bitcoin would be at 250,000. That obviously didn't happen in terms of that dollar figure. Now you've said it'll happen in 2025. So we have, 12 plus months to go here. Do you still stand by that call?
Well, I don't know why anybody's still listening to me if I missed that one, but there was a moment in 2014 where Bitcoin was at about 180, and I said that it was going to be worth 10,000 in 3 years, and it hit it almost to the date. And so I thought I was magic. And so when I predicted 250,000, I clearly didn't get it right. And I think that there's going to be a moment where there's a run on the banks the way after the Civil War there was a run on Confederate money, And there was a run on the Greek drachma and a run on the French franc when they became a part of the euro. So I actually think that there will be a moment in time when I can buy my food, clothing, and shelter all in Bitcoin, and people won't want dollars anymore. But of course, it is a store of value, and that's a first step. And then I look at the stable coins as a bridge toward a Bitcoin economy. And I think that they're also going to be very important to the world for a while. And then when people realize that they want a currency that has a fixed number, and they want a currency that they can operate with without being subject to political forces, the swings of political forces changing the value of a coin.
Right.
I think it's going to be a really interesting 5 or 10 years ahead of us, where there is some time in that 5 to 10 years, there's going to be a time when you don't really want to hold dollars anymore, because you know that they're political and they're subject to inflation, and they're subject to whatever the central bank or the political forces decide to do.
Well, Tim,
when Trump spent $9 trillion, our dollars were suddenly worth about 75 cents. And people say, oh, yeah, it's inflation. Well, it's because the government just decided to spend all that money. And so I think we've got a currency that now that we can trust throughout the world. And you can have Bitcoin. You can it's globally recognized. It's
right.
It can be used in many different ways, and it's more stable for anybody who's trying to run a business.
Well, let's talk. This is the latest round of layoffs we are hearing about in tech today. It's two fintech companies, Block and PayPal. Let's start with Block, a source familiar with what's going on there telling me that these layoffs were announced in November. They're starting to take place across the company today. Jack Dorsey, the CEO and founder, announcing this in a note to staffers. It comes after Tidal, the music streaming service owned by Block, also recently went through some of these same job reductions. Block laid this out in this goal of capping employees at 12,000 people by the end of this year. That was shared in the Q3 earnings call. So it was forecasted by the company. The size of Block at the time was 13,000 people at the end of that quarter, so it's about 1,000 people. And then over at PayPal, we are hearing a similar story today. The Information first reporting this, but CNBC has now reviewed multiple LinkedIn posts from people who say they worked at PayPal and have gotten word and noticed today that they are being let go. It comes as the company's new CEO, Alex Chriss, is on this cost-cutting mission. He talked a lot about focusing more on the core products like checkout. He laid that out last week. CEO said they need to get leaner. They need to get that cost basis in line. PayPal announced this 7% reduction almost exactly a year ago. At the time, it was 2,000 jobs. So it is the latest from both companies in fintech, but it does add to this growing list of tech job cuts everywhere from Amazon to Meta to Google.
And, of course, UPS early in the day on the transportation side as well.
Purposefully is I can see you. I can see both of you pretty clearly in color. I can see everything in my hands. And then if I tap this crown up top, I see a bunch of apps. So Apple TV, music, Safari, photos, the App Store messages, anything I want that I can install. There's more than 1 million iPad and iPhone apps that you can install.
How much training does it take for your eyes, for you to get used to selecting? We're seeing the view right now on screen.
On screen right
but
now.
How much practice does it take for you to learn how to select it with your eyes?
It's a good question, Contessa, because I had training a little bit with Apple before we started reviewing it, and I picked it up right away. The crazy thing for me is that all you do is look at the app. It tracks your eyes using sensors inside the headset. You look at the app, and then you tap your thumb and your forefinger, and it opens it. And then you can close it, open up apps, and put them all around you in this space. So it took minutes.
Wait, how does it?
Understand.
Well, I don't understand how that works with tapping your finger when there's no sensor on your finger.
Cameras on the outside of the headset that can see my hands and what my hands are doing, and cameras on the inside that are watching my eyes.
Friday, a ship was attacked. It was aided by ships from the U.S., the French, and the Indian Navy. It was carrying Russian fuel. It was owned by a European company. And so this is not about Gaza or about the United States. This is the Houthis, terrorist organization that is threatening global shipping.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is, it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of a huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting it more right now with Bloomberg's Sonali Basak. Sonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and when the dealers have to step in to save a Treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
so, teacher and the new World Order book, plus the 3 kids books, It's Time to Re-Educate. Also, new cryptos, Coinbase, BitChute, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The Stock Channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get on stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing, they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. Most powerful person in the world. is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know, I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.